It looks like Trump and the GOP are facing a major hurdle in their budget plans. There's no way to reach their deficit-cutting goals without making significant cuts to Medicare or Medicaid, according to the Congressional Budget Office. Key points. 1. Budget reality check. The GOP's proposed budget, backed by Trump and Elon Musk, calls for $1.5 trillion in cuts. 1. The problem? 1. There's no way to achieve that without slashing entitlements like Medicare and Medicaid. 2. Political backlash. Democrats are strongly opposed, arguing that these cuts would harm millions of Americans, particularly children, seniors, and people with disabilities. 3. Republican divisions. While some GOP members support the cuts, moderate Republicans, especially in states with large elderly populations, are hesitant. 3. Cutting Medicaid could hurt their re-election chances. 4. Trump's position. Trump insists that Medicare and Medicaid won't be touched, only waste and fraud will be targeted. 4. But experts say that wouldn't come close to closing the budget gap. 5. Senate versus House. Even within the GOP, the House and Senate are not on the same page, making it even harder to pass major spending cuts. Bottom line, Trump and the GOP are in a tough spot. Either they cut Medicare and Medicaid and face political fallout, or they abandon their ambitious budget goals. With Democrats and even some Republicans pushing back, this fight is far from over. Would you like a deeper analysis or any specific details? Here's a rewritten version of the news article with a fresh phrasing while maintaining the core details. Trump faces major budget hurdle. GOP can't reach goals without cutting Medicare or Medicaid. Former President Donald Trump and congressional Republicans are running into a major roadblock in their efforts to reshape federal spending. The Congressional Budget Office, CBO, has confirmed what many suspected: there is no realistic way for the GOP to meet its ambitious budget-cutting targets without reducing funding for Medicare or Medicaid. Key challenges. 1. Unavoidable cuts. The GOP's budget plan, championed by Trump and billionaire Elon Musk, aims to slash $1.5 trillion from federal spending. 1. However, according to the CBO, achieving these reductions is impossible without cutting entitlement programs like Medicare and Medicaid. 2. Political resistance. Democrats strongly oppose any cuts, warning that reductions would severely impact millions of Americans, particularly seniors, children, and people with disabilities. 2. They argue that slashing these programs would devastate vulnerable populations and create long-term economic instability. 3. GOP divisions. While some Republicans support entitlement cuts, moderate lawmakers, especially those representing states with large elderly populations, are reluctant to back reductions that could alienate voters and jeopardize their re-election prospects. 4. Trump's stance. Trump has repeatedly stated that Medicare and Medicaid will remain untouched, claiming that the focus will be on eliminating fraud and inefficiencies. 4. However, experts argue that targeting waste alone would not come close to filling the $1.5 trillion budget gap. 5. House versus Senate. Even within the GOP, there's no unified approach. 5. The House budget includes $880 billion in Medicaid cuts, but the Senate has not endorsed similar measures, making it even harder to push major spending reductions through Congress. What's next? Republicans now face a tough decision: pursue deep entitlement cuts and risk public backlash, or abandon their aggressive budget-cutting promises. With opposition from Democrats, advocacy groups like AARP, and even some members of their own party, passing major reductions to Medicare and Medicaid is proving to be a political minefield. As lawmakers continue negotiating, the future of federal healthcare funding remains uncertain. With elections looming, the GOP will have to decide whether to stick to its budget goals or reconsider its approach to avoid voter outrage. Would you like any further refinements or a different focus?